Let me tell you something no one dares to say. Being too nice is the fastest way to get used, ignored, and left behind. You think being nice will make people love you? No, it makes them take you for granted. So if you've ever felt drained, unappreciated, or like you give more than you get, listen closely. This speech will change the way you see yourself forever. We live in a world where people mistake kindness for weakness. The more you say yes, the more they expect. The more you adjust, the less they respect you. And before you know it, you're living a life that pleases everyone except yourself. But here's the truth. Being too nice is not kindness. It's self-betrayal. You think being agreeable makes you lovable. No, it makes you forgettable. The ones who win in life are not the ones who bend over backward for everyone. They're the ones who set boundaries, command respect, and choose themselves first. Being nice won't get you a raise. It won't make a toxic man love you, and it definitely won't protect you from betrayal. What will? Strength, confidence, and the courage to say enough. People who are too nice often find themselves in a cycle of being used. It starts small. Someone asks for a favor and you do it without hesitation. Then another request comes in. Maybe a friend needs money, a colleague asks you to stay late to finish their work, or a partner expects you to always adjust to their needs. You say yes, thinking you're being helpful, thinking you're strengthening your relationships. But what happens? The moment you say no, the moment you ask for the same in return, there's silence. They hesitate. They suddenly have excuses. And you realize something heartbreaking. They never valued you for who you are. They valued you for what you could do for them. Have you ever noticed how the people who are always available, always giving, always saying yes, end up feeling the most alone? It's because when you give too much, people stop seeing your kindness as a gift. They start seeing it as your duty. They expect it, they demand it. And when you finally set a boundary, they make you feel guilty for it. They say you've changed, that you're being selfish, that you're not the person they thought you were. But the truth is, they never cared about the real you. They only cared about what they could take from you. Look around. How many times have you been left drained after giving everything to someone who wouldn't lift a finger for you? How many times have you sacrificed your own peace to make someone else's life easier? And what did you get in return? A simple thank you? A temporary smile? Or worse, nothing at all? Let me tell you something powerful. The moment people realize you will always give, they stop feeling the need to give back. It's human nature. The more accessible something is, the less valuable it becomes. Think about a restaurant that offers free food every day. At first, people will be grateful. They will appreciate it. But over time, they will stop saying thank you. They will stop feeling lucky. They will start expecting it. And if one day the restaurant decides to charge for the food, those same people will complain. They won't care about how much they've received for free in the past. They will only be upset about what they're not getting now. This is exactly how life works when you're too nice. People don't count how much you've given. They only notice the moment you stop. Have you ever seen a friend who constantly listens to everyone's problems but has no one to turn to when they are struggling? That's what happens when you are always the giver. You become the emotional dumping ground, the one people run to when they need support, but the moment you need the same, suddenly everyone is too busy. You are expected to be strong, to be understanding, to keep giving. And it's not because people are cruel. It's because you trained them to see you as a giver and nothing more. The same thing happens in relationships. The one who loves too much, who gives without limits, who always puts their partner first, why do they always end up the most heartbroken? Because the moment someone realizes they can have you without effort, they stop valuing you. The more you chase, the faster they run. The more you adjust, the more they take you for granted. But the ones who stand firm, who demand respect, who don't bend over backward for love, those are the ones who are cherished. Imagine this. Two women walk into a relationship. One says, I will do whatever it takes to make you happy. The other says, I have my own life, my own standards. I will give love, but only if I receive it too. Which one do you think will be treated with more respect? The first one will be adored at first. Her kindness will be appreciated, but soon it will become expected. She will start feeling like no matter how much she gives, it's never enough. The second woman, the one who sets boundaries, will never feel this way. Because she teaches people from the start, if you want my time, my love, my energy, you must earn it. This is why the strongest people in the world are not the ones who give endlessly. They are the ones who know when to stop, the ones who understand that their kindness is not free for everyone to take advantage of. You see it in workplaces all the time. The employee who never complains, who always picks up extra tasks, who never says no, they are not the ones who get promoted. They are the ones who get more work, more responsibilities, and less appreciation. Meanwhile, the employee who knows their worth, who sets limits, who demands respect, gets ahead. Because they make it clear from day one, I am valuable, my time is valuable, treat me accordingly. Look at friendships. The friend who is always available, always saying yes, always putting others first. Why do they often feel the loneliest? Because their kindness is seen as a given, not a gift. But the friend who knows when to say no, who values themselves enough to set boundaries, is the one people admire. Because they command respect. They don't beg for it. And let's talk about family. How many times have you seen a parent who sacrifices everything for their children, only to be forgotten when they're old? The same kids, they gave everything to grow up, expecting more and more, without gratitude. But the parent who teaches their children to respect their time, their effort, their sacrifices, that's the parent whose children cherish them even more. Because they never took that love for granted. This is the reality of life. People don't value what comes too easily. They only value what they have to work for. And if you keep giving without limits, without asking for anything in return, you are teaching people to take you for granted. So if you've ever wondered why you feel exhausted, why you feel like no one gives you the same energy you give them, the answer is simple. Because you've been too nice. Nice people are often overlooked, not because they lack value, but because they make it too easy for others to take them for granted. It happens in friendships, in relationships, in workplaces, even in families. The ones who always show up, the ones who always say yes, the ones who never ask for anything in return, why are they the ones who feel the most invisible? Why is it that the kindest people often feel like no one truly sees them? Because when you're too available, too accommodating, too willing to bend, people stop appreciating you, they expect you. Think about the sun. It rises every morning, gives its warmth, spreads its light, asks for nothing in return. And yet how often do we stop to appreciate it? We only notice the sun when it's gone, when darkness takes over. That is exactly what happens to nice people. As long as you are there, as long as you keep giving, people assume you always will. They don't pause to appreciate your presence because they think you will always be there. But the moment you disappear, the moment you step back, that's when they start to realize what they lost. In the workplace, look at the difference between the one who always says yes and the one who knows how to say no. The one who stays late, takes on extra work, never complains. What happens to them? Do they get rewarded? Do they get recognized? No. They get more work, more expectations, more demands. But the employee who sets boundaries, who speaks up for themselves, who makes it clear that their time is valuable, that's the one who gets promotions. That's the one the boss respects. Because they don't just give their energy away for free, they make people earn it. Imagine two friends. One is always available, always the first to text, the first to check in, the one who remembers birthdays, who makes plans, who gives without keeping count. The other is selective, responds when they want to, isn't always available, doesn't bend over backward to please. Who do you think gets more attention, more respect? The second one. Not because they're a better friend, but because their presence feels rarer. The first one, no matter how kind, is overlooked. Not because they don't matter, but because they make themselves too easy to access. This happens in relationships too. The person who gives their all, who loves unconditionally, who never asks for more, why do they always end up feeling like they're not enough? Because when you give without limits, without making someone work for your time, they stop valuing you. The partner who makes sure every little thing is perfect, who constantly puts their needs second, who sacrifices their own happiness for their relationship, why do they always end up feeling neglected? Because they made themselves too easy to love, too easy to ignore. Imagine a woman who does everything for a partner. She remembers the little things. She adjusts her life around his needs. She never complains when he cancels plans. She forgives without hesitation. She thinks she is showing love. But what is he learning? He is learning that her time is not valuable. That no matter what he does, she will always be there. Now imagine another woman. She loves, but she loves with standards. She won't tolerate being disrespected. She won't always be available. She makes her partner work to earn her time. Which one do you think will be treated with more respect? Even in families, this happens. The sibling who always helps out, who is always responsible, who never says no. Why do they feel ignored? But the sibling who only shows up when they want to, who has no problem setting boundaries, who doesn't always give, why do they get more attention, more consideration? Because when you're too nice, too reliable, people assume you don't need appreciation. They assume you will always be there, so they focus on the ones who don't give as much. And look at social dynamics. The loudest person in the room, the one who demands attention, who doesn't hesitate to take up space, why are they noticed first? Meanwhile, the one who is kind, who listens, who supports, why do they blend into the background? Because the world doesn't naturally reward kindness. It rewards confidence. It rewards those who demand to be seen. Think about school. The student who always does their homework, who never causes trouble, who quietly excels, how often do they get special attention? Now think about the student who speaks up, who challenges the rules, who stands out, not necessarily because they are smarter, but because they make themselves seen. That is the difference. The world notices what stands out, and when you're too nice, you become part of the background. In life, the ones who are valued the most are not necessarily the best, the kindest, the most deserving. They are the ones who know how to make themselves seen. The ones who don't overgive, who don't make themselves too available, who don't allow themselves to be taken for granted. The ones who are respected are not the ones who give endlessly, but the ones who know when to stop. Being nice is a beautiful quality, but it does not guarantee respect. Too many people believe that if they are kind, accommodating, and always agreeable, the world will treat them the same way in return. But that's not how it works. Respect is not given because of kindness alone. It is given to those who demand it, to those who set standards, to those who refuse to be walked over. If being nice was all it took, then the kindest people would be the most powerful, the most valued, the most respected. But look around. Are they? Or are they often the ones who are overlooked, taken advantage of, and disregarded? Think about a workplace. 2 employees start the same job. One is extremely nice, always willing to help, never questions extra work, never speaks up when something feels unfair. The other does their job well, but sets boundaries. They make it clear what they will and won't tolerate. They say no when needed. Who do you think gets more respect? Who do you think gets taken seriously? It's not the one who bends over backward. It's the one who shows strength. Now imagine a teacher in a classroom. One teacher is kind and lenient, always trying to be friendly with students, allowing late work, never enforcing discipline. The other is also kind, but firm. Their kindness is balanced with authority. They enforce deadlines, they set expectations, they demand effort. Which teacher do students respect more? The one who stands firm, the one whose kindness comes with strength, not weakness. Look at relationships. A woman who is always sweet, never argues, never sets standards. She believes that by being the perfect accommodating partner, she will be loved more. But what happens? Over time, her kindness is mistaken for weakness. Her partner stops trying, stops valuing her. Now another woman, equally kind, but not afraid to walk away when treated poorly. She is respected. Why? Because she makes it clear that kindness is a choice, not a weakness. Even in friendships, this pattern appears. One friend is always available, always forgiving, always putting in effort. The other sets clear limits. They don't tolerate disrespect. They make it known that their time is valuable. Who is treated better? Who is more respected? It is always the one who is willing to walk away rather than be mistreated. Think of celebrities, leaders, people in positions of power. The ones who are respected are not necessarily the nicest. They are the ones who balance kindness with strength. They know when to say no. They know when to push back. They know that being too nice, too soft, too accommodating does not command respect. It invites exploitation. In families, the same rule applies. The sibling who always says yes, who never stands up for themselves, who always sacrifices their needs for others, do they get the most respect? No. But the sibling who knows how to assert themselves, who is kind but not afraid to speak their mind, people listen to them, people take them seriously. Think of daily interactions. You walk into a store, 2 employees, one is overly nice, almost desperate to please, apologizing for things that aren't their fault. The other is still polite but carries themselves with confidence. Who do you instinctively respect more? The second one. Because their kindness is not based on fear. It is not rooted in a need to be liked. The world does not respect those who are simply nice. It respects those who are kind but firm, who know their worth, who do not bend at the first sign of conflict, who understand that being liked is not the same as being respected, who realize that true strength is not in endless giving, but in knowing when to stop. People will always test how much you can take. Life is like an unspoken game, where the world pushes you to see where your breaking point lies. And the truth, the more you tolerate, the more people push. It's a harsh reality, but human nature thrives on boundaries. If you don't set them, the world will walk all over you. Think about the friend who always borrows money but never pays it back. The first time you let it slide because you don't want to seem rude. The second time you convince yourself they must be struggling. By the third time, it's no longer an accident, it's a habit. They've learned that you won't say no. They've tested how much you can take, and they've realized there are no consequences. In relationships, the same thing happens. At first, it's a small lie, a broken promise, something easy to forgive. But then it grows. One day, you find yourself accepting things you once swore you never would. And why? Because every time they crossed the line, you allowed it. Every time they tested you, you let them win. And now, they no longer fear losing you because they know you'll always stay. In the workplace, it's just as brutal. You agree to work late once and suddenly it's expected of you. You take on extra tasks without complaint and soon it's your new normal. Your boss, your co-workers, they have tested how much you can take and they've learned that you won't push back. So they keep piling it on. They keep using you as the one who will always say yes, not because they respect you, but because they know you won't resist. Even in families, this pattern plays out. The sibling who is always available, always sacrificing, always putting themselves last, they become the one everyone depends on, but no one appreciates. They are tested repeatedly, and because they never say enough, they are expected to keep carrying the weight. Meanwhile, the sibling who speaks up, who sets limits, who says no without guilt, they are the ones who are respected. Look at society. The people who demand respect, who set their own terms, who refuse to be pushed, those are the ones the world listens to. Not the ones who suffer in silence. The world does not reward endurance. It rewards those who decide for themselves what they will and won't accept. Even in something as simple as standing in a line, you can see this dynamic at play. If someone cuts in front of you and you say nothing, what happens? They stay there. They get away with it. But the moment you speak up, the moment you say, "Excuse me, I was here first," suddenly they back off. Not because they're kind, but because they were testing what they could get away with. It happens in friendships too. The friend who is always available, who always puts others first, who never asks for anything in return, eventually they realize they are not appreciated. They are tested over and over again until one day they wake up and realize they've been taken for granted. And the worst part is not because people are evil, it's because you teach people how to treat you. Think about the moments in your life when you felt the most exhausted, the most used, the most disrespected. Was it because people were naturally cruel? Or was it because you allowed them to take more than they should have? Because every time they tested you, you proved that you would endure. The truth is, people push as far as you let them. The ones who get the most respect are not necessarily the strongest, the loudest, or the most aggressive. They are the ones who know where their limit is and enforce it without apology. They are the ones who understand that the world will keep testing them, but they refuse to let it break them. Being too nice leads to fake relationships. It's a hard pill to swallow, but the reality is, when you are always agreeable, always accommodating, always putting others before yourself, you attract the wrong kind of people. You don't draw in those who value you. You draw in those who value what they can get from you. Think about the person who is always available, no matter what. The one who answers every call, says yes to every request, bends over backward to please others. At first it feels good. People seem to like them, they feel needed, appreciated. But over time something shifts. The friends who once seemed so genuine are only around when they need something. The love that felt so real begins to feel conditional. And the moment they stop giving, the moment they finally say no, people start disappearing. It happens all the time in friendships. A woman who is always the first to check in, to make plans, to support others through their struggles. She thinks she has a close-knit circle. But then, one day, she decides to stop initiating. She waits to see who reaches out first. And what happens? Silence. Not because people forgot about her, but because her presence was never truly valued. It was just convenient. Look at relationships. A man who showers his partner with love, affection, and endless generosity, at first, it seems like a perfect romance. But if his kindness has no boundaries, if he never expects anything in return, if he tolerates neglect and one-sided effort, what happens? His love is taken for granted. The person he adores stops appreciating him because they never had to earn his affection. What once felt like love turns into obligation, and before he knows it, he's trapped in a relationship where he gives everything and receives nothing. Even in families, this pattern appears. The sibling who is always the peacemaker, always sacrificing, always making excuses for others, they believe they are holding the family together, but in reality, they are just the one everyone relies on, without ever receiving the same energy back. The moment they decide to set a boundary, to put themselves first for once, they are accused of being selfish, because their role was never to be loved equally, it was to be used. In workplaces, the overly nice employee is seen as dependable, helpful, a team player. But are they respected? Or are they just the one who gets all the extra work, all the last-minute tasks, all the responsibilities no one else wants? Their kindness is mistaken for weakness. Their generosity is abused. And the moment they stop saying yes, the moment they demand fair treatment, they are met with resistance. Not because they were valued, but because they were convenient. Think about the people you've seen in life who are truly respected. Are they the ones who never say no, who never demand anything for themselves, or are they the ones who know their worth, the ones who set expectations, the ones who don't tolerate fake relationships built on one-sided effort? Being too nice doesn't build real connections. It attracts users, manipulators, people who are only there as long as it benefits them. And when you wake up and realize this, it's painful. It's heartbreaking to see how many people were never truly there for you just for what you could offer. But here's the truth. Real relationships, real love, real respect, it doesn't come from being overly nice. It comes from being real, from setting boundaries, from demanding the same energy you give. Because the people who truly care about you, they won't walk away when you stop overextending yourself. They'll stay, they'll appreciate you, they'll respect you. Not for what you give, but for who you are. Being nice doesn't make you strong. Being real does. The world teaches us that kindness is a virtue, that being nice makes you a good person. But here's the truth no one tells you. Being nice without boundaries doesn't make you strong, it makes you easy to manipulate. Strength doesn't come from being agreeable. It comes from standing your ground. It comes from knowing who you are and refusing to let anyone take advantage of that. Look around you. The people who are the most respected are not the ones who say yes to everything, who never speak up, who always try to keep the peace. They're the ones who know when to walk away, the ones who know their worth, the ones who are real, not just nice. Think about the person who always avoids conflict, who always smiles even when they're hurting, who always puts others before themselves. At first, it seems noble. It seems selfless. But over time, they begin to realize something. They are not respected. They are not valued. People come to them when they need something, but never when they have something to give. Their kindness is mistaken for weakness. Their patience is stretched to the limit. And the worst part, the more they give, the less they are appreciated. In relationships, this is even more dangerous. A woman who is always nice, always understanding, always forgiving, she thinks she is building love. But what she's actually doing is teaching someone that they can get away with anything. She ignores the red flags. She forgives without consequences. She tolerates neglect. And then one day she looks in the mirror and realizes she has lost herself in the process of trying to be nice. She realizes that love built on niceness alone is not love, it's control. In friendships, the same pattern appears. The friend who is always available, who never says no, who always puts in more effort than they receive, at first they feel like they have a strong bond. But then one day they stop chasing. They stop initiating. And what happens? Silence. They were not valued for who they were, but for what they could provide. Being nice did not bring them loyalty, it brought them users. Even in the workplace, this lesson is brutal. The employee who is always willing to take on extra work, who never complains, who always says yes, they think they are proving their worth. But instead, they become the dumping ground. They become the one expected to handle everything because they never push back. And when promotions come, when raises are given, they are overlooked. Because niceness alone does not command respect. Strength does. Think about family. The one who always keeps quiet to keep the peace, who tolerates disrespect to avoid drama, they think they are being strong. But they are not. They are being used. Because the truth is, the more you allow, the more people will take. The moment they finally say, enough, they are called difficult, selfish, rude. Not because they are wrong, but because people got comfortable with their silence. Look at the most powerful people in the world. Are they the ones who are always nice, always agreeable, always bending to the will of others? Or are they the ones who know when to say no? The ones who refuse to tolerate disrespect? The ones who understand that real strength is not in being liked, it's in being respected. Being nice won't protect you. It won't shield you from betrayal. It won't guarantee you love or loyalty. But being real, that will. Being real means you don't let people take more than they deserve. Being real means you demand the same energy you give. Being real means you are not afraid to lose people who don't value you, because you understand that your worth is not determined by how much you can tolerate. The world does not need more nice people who suffer in silence. The world needs more real people who refuse to be walked over, because real strength isn't in pleasing others, it's in honoring yourself. Nice people attract narcissists. It's a harsh truth, but one that needs to be said. The very qualities that make you kind, understanding, and selfless are the same qualities that make you a target for those who only know how to take. You see, narcissists don't look for equals. They don't want a partner, a friend, or a family member who challenges them. They want someone who will tolerate their selfishness, feed their ego, and never call them out on their behavior. And who better for that role than a nice person? Someone who always sees the good in others, even when the bad is staring them in the face. Think about it. The girl who gives endless chances to the man who never changes. The employee who takes on extra work while their boss takes all the credit. The friend who listens to every problem but never gets the same support in return. The family member who constantly forgives even when the wounds are fresh. These people believe they are being kind, but in reality they are being drained, used, exploited. Narcissists love nice people because they know they won't fight back. They know they can get away with bad behavior. They test the limits. First, it's small things. A little lie, a broken promise, a moment of selfishness. And when the nice person forgives it, they push further. Suddenly, their needs are the only ones that matter. Suddenly your emotions are dismissed, your time is controlled, your kindness is expected, not appreciated. And the scariest part, you don't even realize it's happening until you're exhausted, until you feel like a shell of who you used to be.